In this video, I'm going to explain the JSX tool dev server, why we need it, and at a high level how it works. If you want to go straight into setting it up, you can find the links to the relevant steps in the description of this video. If you've been using the tutorial videos, until now we've been in source mode. Let me quickly explain what that means. When you run a React project, the code gets transformed into a combination of the languages that the browser understands. That's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That means that what we are seeing in the browser is built from different code than what we have written in our file system. Most of the time in development, the files that have been generated for the browser include source maps, metadata that allows programs like the debugger to reproduce your source code without having direct access to it. When you're in source mode, JSX tool uses those source maps to create the relationship between elements in the DOM and your source code. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's the simple file that lives on my machine that we've written to create our logo component. Let's look at our project in the browser, open JSX tool, and find that file. You can see it looks exactly the same, but it isn't reading from my file system. But this is what the browser is actually reading. It's almost 5 times as many lines of code, and if you scroll to the bottom, we can find the source mapping URL. This URL is interpreted to generate this file, which is how we can add breakpoints and debug our code. So this explains why JSX tool can operate without any additional connection in the default source mode. But what if we want to make changes back to the file system from within our browser? That's where our open source dev server comes in. The JSX tool dev server enables the JSX tool Chrome extension to read and modify your React source code in real time. It provides a WebSocket server scoped to your project directory, allowing secure file system access from the browser extension. So the dev server sits between your source code and JSX tool. It can be configured in about 2 minutes to come up every time you run your project in development. Or you can run it ad hoc from the root of your project without any code changes. You'll just have to do that every time. Additionally, when you do the quick setup, you'll have to access your project on a different port in order to use JSX tool. You can configure the command to work with your project on our quick start page. The last thing I need to cover is that once a page reaches a certain size, React stops providing source maps. To overcome that, the dev server can also spin up a proxy server that we can forward specific traffic over in order to override those limits. If you have JSX tool open and you hit a memory limit, you'll be prompted to forward that traffic over the proxy server just for the duration of your session. If you're ready to configure the dev server in your project, the next 2 videos in this playlist are walkthroughs of setting it up in a Vite project and in a Next.js project. If you want to move forward with the temporary setup with no code changes, you can go to our quick start page in our docs. More information about each of these steps will be linked in the video description.